Question: What is the importance of birds? The birds of Earth are descendants of these bird beings. The birds were placed on Earth to help its electromagnetic sphere and to be messengers for the spirits. The birds play a part in balancing things out. Killing the birds throws off the magnetic grid of the planet. Yet the devil creates a season to hunt them for sport. The devil knows this and still kill the birds off every day. An electromagnetic field, also M-field, is a classical, i.e. non-quantum, field produced by moving electric charges. It is the field described by classical electrodynamics and is the classical counterpart to the quantized electromagnetic field tensor in quantum electrodynamics. Earth's magnetic field plays a vital role in everything from animal migration to protecting the Earth from the sun's harsh solar wind. Birds visually see Earth's magnetic field. Birds use Earth's magnetic field as sort of a heads-up display to help them navigate the globe. The Earth's magnetic field is a result of the movement or convection of liquid iron in the outer core. As the liquid metal in the outer core moves, it generates electric currents, which lead to a magnetic field. The continual movement of liquid metal through this magnetic field creates stronger electrical currents and thus a stronger magnetic field. This positive feedback loop is called the geomagnetic dynamo. A bird has wings which helps it to fly. Birds' wings have feathers and strong muscles attached to them. With the help of their strong arm and chest muscles, birds flap their wings and fly. The bodies of birds are very light, which help them to fly easily. The birds have mastered the electromagnetic field, which is the key to flying. The avian/bird magnetic compass is an inclination compass based on the inclination of the field lines rather than on the polarity, and its operation requires short wavelength light and sound. These properties reflect the use of specialized photopigments in the primary process of magnetoreception. Question: What is magnetoreception? Magnetoreception is a sense which allows an organism to detect a magnetic field to perceive direction, altitude, or location. This sensory modality is used by a range of animals for orientation and navigation, and as a method for animals to develop regional maps. The birds uses it oscillating fields and their orientation responses as a criterion for unhindered magnetoreception. The bird has receptor molecules. Question: What are receptor molecules? Receptor molecules, generally a protein, that receives signals for a cell. Small molecules, such as hormones outside the cell or second messengers inside the cell, bind tightly and specifically to their receptors. The birds use a radical pair with special properties that is optimally designed as a receptor in a biological compass. This radical pair design is realized by cryptochrome photoreceptors if paired with molecular oxygen as a reaction partner. Question: What can we learn from watching birds? In order to see birds, it's necessary to become a part of the silence. It is by listening that enable you to know what is yet to come. You can observe the behavior of birds to predict the coming weather. You can observe birds to find food and water. You can observe other animals as well. Cows lying down means a thunderstorm coming. Cats cleaning behind their ears means rain is on the way. If birds feed during a storm, the rain will continue for a long time, but if they don't, then the rain will end fairly quickly. Most birds have what's called the vitally organ, a special middle ear receptor that can sense extremely small changes in atmospheric pressure. With extreme sensitivity comes equally acute pain reception, so the faster the atmospheric pressure falls, indicating an approaching storm, the more birds that fly low, and the lower they fly, to the ground in an attempt to alleviate the discomfort caused by the pressure change in their ears at her altitudes. They don't have to be flying to escape the pain, either. If you notice a sudden and sharp increase in activity at your feeders or amassing on power lines, there's probably a good chance that a storm is bearing down on your location. The Earth government knows these things and have created weapons to attack the birds. They know that they are spiritual beings. With a storm approaching, birds usually take a break from flying and seek refuge to wait the bad weather out. Birds usually grow extremely quiet right before it begins to rain. Birds fly south in the winter time. Why do birds migrate? Birds that nest in the northern hemisphere tend to migrate northward in the spring to take advantage of burgeoning insect populations, budding plants, and an abundance of nesting locations. As winter approaches and the availability of insects and other food drops, the birds move south again. You can also receive messages and signs from the spiritual plane. Surely in vain a net is spread in the sight of any bird. Question: how do birds communicate? Birds use song, call notes, and behavior to communicate with each other. Birds use sound and action to scare off predators or warn other birds about danger, to attract a mate or to defend one's territory. The males of the species often sing more than the females. The males sing to announce their presence and to let females know that they are available for mating. They also sing to defend the territory in which they mate, nest or feed. Females do not sing as frequently as the males. A song is often a multi-noted phrase that is repeated over and over. Some species only have one song in their repertoire, while other species may have several. Some birds, such as starlings, will mimic the songs of other species of birds, and they may be able to produce dozens of different songs. Birds communicate with humans through motion and body language. Question: why do birds fly in formation? Birds carefully position their wingtips and sink their flapping, presumably to catch the preceding bird's updraft and save energy during flight. Squadrons of planes can save fuel by flying in a V formation, and many scientists suspect that migrating birds do the same. This is the science behind teamwork make the dream work. Introduction. The language of the birds represents a higher frequency of sound that carries musical tones and harmonies that carry us into higher states of mental and spiritual consciousness. Birds are nearly always used as icons or symbols on the shields and staffs of an army going into battle, and are also placed at the top of a totem representing the generic names of tribes and clans and families. In the language of the supreme wisdom, these words are intended for the initiate to work on self-knowledge in the attainment of self-improvement, working from the inside, interior part of being, to the outside, exterior view of self. Time is a frequency determined and shaped by the power of the frequency of thought which emits, time spelled backwards, which gives birth to divine light, the ingenious sparkle of divine consciousness which is like the explosion of the atom into so many parts, which is going on in our minds constantly, at an enormous rate of speed which can hardly be measured. In the language of the supreme wisdom, these words are intended for the initiate to work on self-knowledge in the attainment of self-improvement, working from the inside, interior part of being, to the outside, exterior view of self. The birds must be studied to pass to the next realm. They are protectors of what they're calling the spiritual realm. In the human Bible it refers to birds as spirits. In Revelation 18:2, and he cried mightily with a loud voice saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. The cage is the jail today. The Native American refer to the birds as spirit guides. Humans used a lot of birds quotes such as birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together is a proverb that goes back hundreds of years. Birds of a feather flock together means people of similar interests, background, ideas, or characteristics will often congregate or hang out with each other. People who have similar ideas or values tend to stick together. The early bird gets the worm. Meaning, this proverb is used to tell you to act early or right now to be successful. If someone says, the early bird catches the worm, he or she means that if you do something early or before anyone else, you will have an advantage and be successful. Some birds are not meant to be caged. This means if you're in a relationship with someone and you never let them go anywhere, you are keeping them in a cage. When the bird gets out, it will not come back. In some cases it is better to stick with the bird you have in the cage. In trying to catch another bird, you might lose the bird you got. You even might not catch the bird you were after. It's the same as a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Meaning it's better to be content with what you have than to risk losing everything by seeking more. A bird never flew with one wing. This is a proverb that means work as a team. For there is no I in team. A new net won't catch an old bird. The old bird already has experience in life. It's the same to say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Keep in mind, no matter how high a bird flies, it has to come down for water. Patience is a virtue. A talkative bird will not build a nest. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, it must be a duck. This means, in short, it is what it is. Call it like you see it. A wise old owl sat on an oak tree. The oak tree is one of the strongest trees in the world. Meaning always land on a strong foundation. To be proud as a peacock. Having a very high opinion of oneself, filled with or showing excessive self-esteem. For example, she strutted about in her new outfit, proud as a peacock. This simile alludes to the male peacock, with its colorful tail that can be expanded like a fan, which has long symbolized vanity and pride. The bird is the word. Words are spirits and spirits are words. The spirit speaks through birds. The human Bible even uses a dove as representation of the Holy Spirit or ghost. In ancient time, people used birds as the fastest way to deliver messages from one place to another. In ancient Egypt, the bird is represented as Osiris impregnating a Set/Isis. The Bible copied the spirit/bird story from this account. The birds in ancient Egypt represented the Ba or soul in some cases. The part of the soul that could travel between the worlds of the living and the dead. The bird represent the circle, which is the spirit. When you find a feather, it is a message from the Master Tahyuti that the spirit is with you. Free as a bird is another term used by humans. If someone is free as a bird or free as the air, they are completely free and have no worries or troubles. I have been island hopping in the Pacific for the past 2.5 years, free as a bird. Kill two birds with one stone. It means to achieve two things by doing a single action. We can kill two birds with one stone by dropping off the mail when we go to the grocery store. Keep in mind, we don't kill anything. Every person on the planet has a bird-type spirit. You will find that people and birds have a lot in common. Most people have bird personalities. By studying this book, you will learn another language. A language that is not spoken but seen with the spiritual third eye. Birds are messengers and messengers are angels. How to fly in your dreams. Flying during a dream carries a sense of liberty, weightlessness, and power that is hard to replicate in waking life. Being able to fly in your dreams can give you a sense of doing the impossible, and with some practice in the art of dreaming, you can learn to fly in your dreams at will. Visualize flights around yourself with images of flight. Watch films of different kinds of superhero-style flying, birds flying, and people flying with devices. Look at aerial view images, and imagine you are flying over the scenes depicted. Look at images of space, and try to imagine flying effortlessly through complete emptiness. Close your eyes and try to picture yourself soaring over the landscape beneath you. Spend a few minutes every day imagining sensations related to flight. Imagine bouncing on a trampoline, rushing upwards on a roller coaster, and leaping from a diving board. Play video games in which your character can fly. Playing video games might help you have flying dreams. The visuals will give you ideas for your flying dreams. Learn how to land by landing in water, then swimming. Use a parachute or imagine yourself as a plane or bird landing. Once you master flying in your dream, you will master the first step to fly in this realm.